A few months ago, I did a video talking about the functionality of the Boss MS-3 versus the TC Electronic Plethora X5. If you haven't checked that video out, it's available up here. And if you're interested in either pedal, both are available via links in the description. Some of the comments on that video were kind of disappointed that I didn't run through the sounds of either of the pedals. So here we are. I've taken both the Boss MS-3 and the TC Electronic Plethora, and I've set them kind of similarly. We're going to run through 5 sounds today. We're going to do chorus, delay, octave, reverb, and flange. And I'll try to have those effects time-coded in the description, so that way if you want to jump to a specific effect, that should make the video a little easier to navigate. So the way this is going to work, I'm going to record a loop. We're going to A-B the effects, and then I'm going to jump into each individual pedal and kind of play with the knobs a little bit, so that way you can hear what it sounds like as you change the parameters in each of the pedals. A quick note on that, the screen in the MS-3 is nearly impossible to capture, so I'm going to kind of briefly just talk about what the parameters are as I'm changing them on the MS-3. For the Plethora, I think you'll be able to see what the parameters are on the screen as I'm changing them. Today we're running through a Fender American Professional 2 Stratocaster, and that's going into a Vox AC-10. Without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to turn the rate up. Back down. Turn the depth up. And I'll turn the rate up. Now over to the Plethora. So the speed or the rate. It's the depth. So when it comes to chorus for both of them, I think it's kind of a wash. I can't really hear a difference. I think if you're looking at them when I change them, maybe your eyes can suggest a difference. But for me, I think if you put a blindfold on me and put them side by side, I wouldn't be able to tell which one you were using, whether it's the MS-3 or the Plethora. So let's move on to delay. Gonna turn up the feedback. I'll turn up the time. Now we're onto the Plethora. I'll do the feedback. So the delay on the feedback, it's just set to the typical flashback delay setting. Granted, I changed the time and the feedback a little bit, but one thing I did notice is there seems to be a little more movement in the delay on the Plethora than there is on the delay in the Boss. So the Boss is essentially taking what I'm playing and it's just repeating it, whereas with the Plethora it almost sounds like there's like a chorus or something washy going on there. So if you're looking for that sound in the MS-3, I'd suggest maybe adding like a chorus on top of it. But I kind of like the flavor that the Plethora gives on that delay. I think it just adds a little something. So it's really what you're looking for. I don't think one's necessarily better than the other. But if I had to just use a delay out of the box, I think I would actually go with the Plethora delay, especially if I'm doing something kind of like what I just played. Let's move on to Octave. So I'm not going to play too much with the settings here. Just a quick note, rather than using the Octave on the MS-3, I set it up as the harmonizer because with the sub and up on the Plethora, you have the octave below and you have the octave above, whereas with the Octave on the MS-3, you only have one octave below and then another octave below. So you can't really achieve the effect of the sub and up with the MS-3 if you're using the MS-3's octave. But with the harmonizer is kind of like the brainwaves pitch shifter in that you can pick the interval. So I picked one above, I picked one below, and I really think I like the Plethora in this regard because the one below just has more of like a punch, and I think it's one below. When I tried to do two below on the MS-3, it was so low that the AC-10 didn't really pick it up. So again, I think both are good effects. Me personally, whenever I'm using an octave pedal, I'm using it to lay down bass lines, so I don't use the above. And again, I use the MS-3 gigging, so it's not like you can't use the MS-3 with this octave, but I do think that the Plethora kind of takes the cake on that one. So now we're going to move on to Reverb. I'm going to turn up the time. I'll cut it back down. And we'll hop over to the Plethora. That's with the time all the way up. Take the high color out. So when it comes to the reverb, again, it's kind of, for me, it's the same with the chorus. I don't really hear a whole lot of difference. There's subtle differences between both, but like I said, if you put a blindfold on me and told me to pick which one was playing, I don't think I'd be able to do it. So reverbs in both are pretty solid. And again, with the Plethora, you have the tone print option. So a player that I really like is Mateus. I'm pretty sure he's got tone prints for his reverbs. You don't get that with the MS-3, but you have an equal amount of different effects. And if the tone print thing doesn't really speak too much to you, you can get the same. I think you can get the same sounds with the reverb in the MS-3 as you can with the Plethora. So when it comes to reverb, I think both are definitely a solid option. Let's move on to flange. Turn up the rate. And the depth. So here comes the rate. Give me a sec, sorry. There's the rate. And the depth. So with the flange, I think this is one more case of, they're pretty much equal. As long as you know what the parameters do that you're controlling, I think you can get pretty similar sounds out of both. So it's kind of a wash on that one. Bonus round. The MS-3 is chock full of distortions, overdrives. I think it has fuzz on it, and that's something that the Plethora definitely doesn't have. With the MS-3, this is a pedal that you could buy with no external pedals, and you could take it out and gig with it. With the Plethora, depending on what kind of music you're playing, you're probably going to need a drive. And this is what I did with the MS-3. I bought just the MS-3, I added it to my pedal board. I kind of, while I was gigging with it, I figured out some of the shortcomings in the pedal, and then I replaced those shortcomings with external pedals. And there aren't a lot of pedals on my board right now, so that should tell you something about the MS-3. Just a quick note about the Plethora. If you've already purchased one and you bought it before it got the firmware update, definitely be sure to do the firmware update, because I'm pretty sure they added a tuner. And TC Electronic, if you're listening, add the ditto to the Plethora. That would absolutely take this already incredible pedal and just put it over the top. With that, I'm gonna wrap up. If you found this video to be helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and definitely subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.